This is a review that I've wanted to do for a long time, which is one of Walmart's inexpensive e-bikes. There are sometimes that this bike goes on sale for $400. I've not been able to find it, or I would have eventually bought one and put it together. This one was already built by a pretty decent builder. This comes in a box that doesn't come with tools, and there are lots of little screws and other things that you have to put together. And if you're not a good builder, then you may not get this together very easily. And you really need to tighten all the screws and check them again once after you've ridden it for a while. I think one of the most amazing things about this bike is that it rides like a heavy regular bike. And if you run out of power and you just put it in first gear, you can tool around flat roads pretty easily. It's only a 6-speed, but that's better than a heavy bike with 1 speed. I'm pedaling right now. I have the power off, just in case the sound was intruding. So I'm going to turn the power on now. When you turn the power on, you have to remember to press the power on the battery to power that up first, and then you can power up the bike. When you turn it on, there is no zero power, which is fine because this bike doesn't have an odometer or trip meter, so you can ride with the power off. But it always, when it's powered on, it has 1 level power. And then for you to power up or down, you can only scroll through, press the mode button. It goes 1, 2, 3, back down to 1 when you press it again. So you can't up and down it. The controller is set up that way. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to try to get the range out of it to figure out what it is. I've seen as little as 10 miles on full power. I saw another review where someone said they got 30 miles, which is pretty shocking to me. I can't imagine that'll be the case, but who knows. So initial impressions, just a really nice bike. It's set up as a cruiser. The handlebars are swayed back. Obviously you can get a workout on any bike if you pedal harder or faster, but this is set up to be able to sit upright and be comfortable. Seat is fine. I have another review on another e-bike that I did, and the seat is atrocious. This one, you can pedal probably several miles and not feel like the seat is torturing you. So good on bumps. It does have it has a front suspension, which really is just to absorb bumps on pavement and light trails, not for going over roots and big rocks and boulders for sure. Just a good solid impression so far. Whoever built this bike, they did a good initial job. I went back through and I tightened all the bolts. I'm running through the shifter, the 6 gears right now. You gotta give Shimano credit. Once you dial in the gearing on their lowest derailleur, which is a Tourney, it just keeps on working and it solidly shifts. So kudos to them. It has, what are the names of the brakes are, I don't know if they're not, probably not Shimano brakes, but they're V brakes. And because this isn't a powerful e-bike, it stops fine. And both brakes have brake limiters or shut-offs. So if you're going fast and the motor is kicked in and you need to stop real quickly, the motor doesn't keep on running when you pull the brakes. Both brake levers have a brake shut off, which is pretty amazing for an e-bike this price. All right, so my main purpose is just to get a sense of range. Right now I've been just going downhill, which is my normal circuit for a ride. It's always going downhill to the bike paths, but very comfortable. I'll start back up after a while, but I'm impressed so far with how everything is sounding. And I don't think you heard any fender chatter from me going over bumps and stuff, so definitely tighten things up, and I move the fenders a little bit to get them off of rubbing. It seems to be working okay. All right, I'll get back more in a bit. So I am finished with my ride, and I got over 18 miles on the e-bike, and there's still the green last power bar that shows up. So I think that this bike definitely can get 20 miles if you're riding on 2 mostly, which is the second level. If you're riding on 3, you're going to get 10 miles tops. The nice thing about not having a throttle on an e-bike is you have to pedal. You have to give some power in order to move the bike, unless you're going downhill. But by not having a throttle, your range gets to be a little bit longer. And if you really think that you have to have a bike with a throttle on it so you don't have to pedal, if you are on flat terrain and you put this on power level 3 and put it in first, second, or third gear, you really are just turning the pedals without any feeling any force, and then it just kind of goes. So it's kind of like you really are not putting any effort in if you put it on power level 3 and keep it in first, second, or third gear and just turn the pedals, and it just goes. It looks like each power level gives you a 5 mile range. So if you put on power level 1 and you're pedaling, it'll get to 10 miles an hour before the power assist stops, and then you're just pedaling. On level 2, it's 15 miles an hour, and then on level 3, it's probably more like 18, maybe 20 on super flat ground after a little bit of time. But it's one of the more pronounced things that you can feel level wise between 1, 2, and 3. It's a 5 mile difference. My final feelings on this bike is if you just want to chase around your kids and you're not if you're not that fit, or if you're just wanting to start getting out there and getting on a bicycle again, this really will help get you there. It is a solid frame 50-pound bike, so if you're probably 5'6" is the right height for this bike to feel like it's manageable. If you get smaller than that, then you really have to hop up into the saddle in order to pedal it. If you're fit, you can handle that. But if you're just trying to get yourself into shape, then I think 5'6" is the right height to make this manageable. You can raise the seat up and also the stem on the handlebar up. So this is probably up to 6 feet, I would say. Overall, I'm impressed with this as a Walmart e-bike. I don't know if it was put together at the store by their builders, or if but I only had to tighten some bolts and things, and except for some rattle from the metal fenders, which is pretty amazing for a bike at this price to have metal fenders. That's the only rattle that you really get on it, so I'm impressed with that. Okay, so I would say if you're looking for your first bike and don't expect $1,000, $2,000 level quality, this is a great way to start. 20 miles is not a great range for a bicycle, but for those of you that are getting into cycling, I think that's probably twice as much as you would be doing on any one ride anyway. So they're still around. Thanks. Bye.